And we're back on a Thursday. What's going on? Let's get right to it. First winner of the day, because this is giveaway Thursday, is RP Hizzle, the Shizzle. What's up, Rapizzle? What's going on? Great to see you. You win a gold 30-day membership to harmonictrader.com and the software, and our session next month on more fun with options. So let's talk about what's going on in the big market, folks. Probably jump to SPY. Oh, even better than QQQs, because a lot of the things that we have talked about are now going into acceleration mode, and we want to figure out how far this will go now today. So greetings to the chat. What's going on? Fishizzle, Fresh Ogar, DK360, Hussein, Yursip, Rogelio. Rogelio, with a name like that, you got to be Brazilian. Lawrence Covelli, Evan, David, Mr. Kennedy. No jokes today, Mr. Kennedy. No jokes. I don't know, man. I'm kind of sensitive these days, I guess. And if any of you actually catch me in an interview where I say that I'm going to, exert physical violence on anybody that I have a grudge against, that was said in jest. I don't know. I'll explain that later. Anyway, of course, I have to take a 1-second shout out, and I want everyone to give a big shout out to my son, Lucas, who turns 5 today. So I'm very happy. My wife and I are celebrating this. It's just his amazing, amazing boy. Any of you that are parents, you know. So very happy to share that with my crew. I've been a less saltier person ever since my boy was born, and a lot of people will attest to that. So big shout out to Lucas. Let's get going for today. Really quick, you know where to go for the source, harmonictrader.com, and become a basic member. It's really easy. It's one email, and I don't even spam you. Sign up there, go to our basic members page, and get all the information for free, including the TradingView program. I asked them when we're going to get TradingView options data, but send your username to hpc at sr-analyst, and not only will set you up with the new update, but the T1, T2 auto tracker. And so what's the auto tracker, and what do our tools tell us today? Awesome, Daniel. Great, yeah. 9/21/18. That's a beautiful day. Let's start right here with the crab and the obvious deal with the rollover. We talked about why getting and printing a yellow dot would be so critical, and was, and now you want to drop it on its head. 436 was the immediate objective, but I'm only interested in target ones. Target one to get us to 419. I think that's a logical spot for this whole move, currently trading 433. So that puts you into the real sweet spot of October, folks. And we'll stick with that. Even if we were looking for some kind of relief, you go to the indicators. You see that stuff like daily HSI just hitting now, amplified just hitting now, even standard RSI rolling over, breaking down, about to go to new lows. Would love to see the price acceleration. This is where it comes in. And today it's doing an ideal follow through. So absolutely a lot of things that are coming into our type 1 targets. We see it in the major markets. We're looking for target confirmation on all of this. And here we go with QQQ, same deal, yellow dot, hop level 361. You're right there. So are we going to break under this hop? 337. I think this is a weekly. Sorry. Let me pull up the weekly. A couple different possibilities. And the software was kicking out a few different matches. I think for all of us, it's about the 886 and coming back. If it's 327, or even if it's a little lower than that, clearly our targets are lower until we get there. Let me just pull off, say, alternate bat, because the way the filters are set up, that's a little better. It's better about that crab, but the way that it's set up is that the software is going to kick out the bigger of the pattern formations. Alternate bat, maybe even removing the shark. I removed the shark, but that probably comes up as a shark as well. Yeah. Either way, I think 336 is the place to look for, and that gets us literally, remember the 30-week rule. Okay, we're 30 weeks into this. That's how much time we have to get it from confirmation point, and 30 weeks puts you well into February. Don't think it's going to take February to reach this target one. You might take another 4 to 6 weeks. That links you up into October. So I just think it's we got to stick to framework. We got to stick to confirmation and wait for those signals. Let's look at the big obvious signals and the big patterns that are just popping all across these big charts, big tech. There's daily. QQQ. Trying to get, oh no, sorry. Netflix. Daily. At target 1. Literally just hit 386.26. This took a while, but it got there yesterday. What you would need to see is HSI to pop out. You are oversold across the board. I mean, this is definitely getting closer and closer. How much under 386 does that need to at least set up some kind of HSI signal, amplified RSI, or standard? I mean, you're very close. It's just that we could do a little more of a flush. 386.26, though, is the level to focus on for Netflix, where this is end of reaction. If I increase the bar limit to 400, it picks up a much bigger pattern on the Qs, probably. But I've set, just so everyone knows, the bars to process. So this is the number of bars that the algos are going to crunch. I actually set it to 4,000, more than 400. And I guess on the weekly chart, I'll always look at the big ratios and the bigger patterns, but I favor, say, crab over alternate bat for sure. And I think those 1618 levels are pretty tight. You know, create a definitive zone with confirmation like Netflix. You got it. I mean, 437 the whole time has been resistance. This is a lot like, and that's the first one out of the group to hit, but it's like Apple. And Apple's trying to do, I think, a few things here that make it interesting. Where are we going to get to 167.62? I'm waiting, because that would resolve this whole deep crab from last year, from the past year, if you will, and then set us up even on a type 2. I think if it gets to 167.62, you probably need to look at that. That's probably the end of the reaction. No confirmation yet. But interesting things lining up. Type 1's coming to completion. Type 2 little patterns starting to do something. Microsoft, same kind of a deal. I mentioned this last time. And Microsoft is it's a bat on the daily, and the weekly, I think, is the better. There you go. So it's a shark on the weekly. And interestingly, it's checking back right now. That's right around 320. Got to watch what happens into tomorrow. You're at least 2 days away from generating a yellow dot, but I would prefer to see this complete the type 1 move before I would consider a larger opportunity. So just understand that I think we talked about 308 on Microsoft as a potential target. Let's bump that down to 290. Why do I prefer a crab pattern over alternate bat? It's a great question. It really has to do with the natural harmonic of the 1618. Look, if you have a straight up 1618 ratio, you're in a ballpark of being overextended harmonically. It's just kind of the baseline rule. Alternate bat's a little trickier situation. Of course, standard bat at the 886 is a fine retracement pattern. Alternate bat, like I said, a little trickier. The crab tends to be more precise. Cleaner moves, cleaner reversals, cleaner confirmation. Be aware of that. Good to see everybody in the chat, though. Good to see everybody today. I'll get over to crypto in a few moments. I know you guys are looking at that, wondering what up. And someone asked me, what do I think about Powell saying no soft landing? I don't say anything. I think, you know, we have to kind of frame it out and explain to ourselves, where are we in the harmonic pattern framework? We've been in a type 1 the whole time. QQQ, the SPY, they continue to be in a type 1. So I don't know what that means in terms of if some kind of macro thing is going to change, or what's going to be the next story, or what's going to be the next thing that he does. It really doesn't matter. Let's go to Meta, which again, another interesting high level pause here. I'm still looking back down to 287 or lower in this pause. I think there was daily was a couple things here. Daily some HSI, bullish HSI. Meta's been stronger than most, but it needs to hold. You can't see it do like a 3-bar breakdown or anything under 295. A few of those others, say Google. Actually, before I do that, hey, NVIDIA. This is it. So NVIDIA did what we thought it would do. It came back for the type 2. It had to. There you go. And so here we are. There's the bat. We had a pre-earnings bump. Really nice. Right up to the all-time 1618. I'll get to that in a second. But there was the bigger move. Breaks down. There's only one place for this thing to come back to. 410.11 or lower, maybe as low as 389. I think you could retest that HSI signal at about 400. So still 14 or more, in my opinion, before you would be hitting any satisfactory type 2 requirements. But that's a nice one. If there is an opportunity on NVIDIA, it's going to be down in here. I think it will be under 400. It's a question of, is it 390, 389, or 395? And if it breaks this hop, I wouldn't want to see that. If you're looking for NVIDIA to do some kind of major continuation, it has to be here. Otherwise, if this fails, there's nothing but go on back, fill the gap. It's quite interesting location for NVIDIA at the moment. And then Amazon, which was another bat pattern itself, right up here, shy of 150, now rolling over. I mean, it was 140, 145, 144. There it is. Terminal bar was 143. And it looks like this isn't a full-blown move now. Back to target 119. This continues. Don't think it's any kind of pause yet. And if anything, we'd want to see confirmation down here. And that's still 10, 11 lower from current levels. Couple more. Thanks, Fizzle, R-Fizzle, or RP Hizzle, Fishizzle. Thanks for hooking up with Miss Stephanie. Yeah, I think, listen, Evan's asking about what about rates? I mean, those are the top ones. We know what those major markets are doing. Let's just really quick, so entertain ourselves for 30 seconds on the Fed. Here's the rate chart, and it's a bat pattern. It's a bearish bat pattern, retesting some resistance. You know, anywhere above this 514 as high as 530. That should be it for now, because you're looking for some kind of correction off of that zone. Come back for a type 1 move. Really tricky when your type 1 reaction reacts but then doesn't break out of the zone. We mentioned this last time. 1 and 2 HSI signals, the last being August 8, told us rates were still heading up into the zone. Now we have a yellow dot. You have everything you want to see. I need to see price action. I need to see 2 or 3 days to stall out and then some kind of reversal on those rates. If not, then you're going to have to look at something larger. I'm not ready to go failure yet on this pattern, but this definitely is stretching out, kind of losing the mojo of that resistance. What are we, day 59? Anyway, keep that in mind. That's the 2-year, that's the 10-year. And I think the only thing you need to consider that's a worry is if rates go crazy. They go ballistic from here. You know, if rates are up 50 basis points or more from here, even 30 basis points, there's something much bigger happening. Here's the 10-year daily. Now, 10-year daily did a really nice bat and at 421 reacted, but then gave you a bullish HSI. So pressing right back to the hop level, 448. If you see the 10-year above 450, pretty much anything, then something bigger is happening. Something bigger is happening, but you know, you're at that level where you want to look for that reaction. That's it. Nothing else. Reaction here, 4-hour chart. Looks like this is still pretty strong. It keeps pushing higher. I'm impressed, to say the least. I mean, it doesn't look like this thing has capitulated out or even set up for some kind of reversal yet. And I'll look at the 448 level. Obvious, that's the hop, but you need, look, we need a dot up here. Our last signal was bullish, so that pushes it higher. And again, look at HSI. It's probably 2 more days away. 448, 450 on the 10-year. Let's keep an eye on that one. Couple more. Here is the TLT. I think this is a great ETF for bonds. And let's go to the weekly. It's a long-term thing. If you're wondering about rates, there you go. I find this pretty interesting, that it's pretty much a blown out butterfly on the rates. This is TLT, 20-year treasury ETF. So price goes down, yield goes up. I mentioned, I guess it was last week, that we'd look for the check back at around 91, and you're there. So things should happen going into next week on on TLT, if we're going to turn around rates soon. It is really quite something to be at this level. We haven't been back there since 2009. What's that tell you? I think we just have to stick with the framework. For those that are wondering, you know, what's the deal? Just where are we in the larger framework? Even for, say, something like Nasdaq futures, the 60-minute chart has been printing this kind of a thing. There you go. So there's futures. And futures chart looks like a just looks like a shark at the hop level. There's HSI, but you need 2 green candles, folks. You need 2. Hold on. Thank you. So that's what I'm watching for today. I mean, we should see some stabilization here, at least for a day or two. And you're at a couple of levels. You have a pattern, retest that ABCD, your target 2, which that is a 14,990 is target 2. You'd want to see a dot. And HSI is still in the oversold. Be patient with it. It's been super choppy, but finally looks like it's going to start accelerating. Continue accelerating, and then let's get a couple of intraday pops. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. All right, thanks. The other one, S&P 500 or SPY, we can go ES futures for that matter, continuous. Okay, that is pretty nasty shark. It's not going to turn around until you generate HSI out of the zone. You're negative 24, 25 on HSI. That's about as low as you can go. But what happens there is you take time. You get that low, which the last time we've been that low was August. And that was as we were dropping into the bottom right there. Okay. That's what's going on here. So bar by bar, 43.97 at the moment, 15 minutes to the top of the hour. You need a green bar. You need a green candle before to even consider this to give you a counter trend bounce. I got it. Yeah. Look, yesterday had a few things going on, but most important, things like HSI in a 5-minute got overbought pretty quickly. On the 60-minute, I'm sorry. And then the 5-minute futures yesterday, we had this thing. We had the deep crab in the pre-market into the open, was a perfect type 2, and then collapsed on through. And notice, check it out. Here's confirmation. No confirmation. Sorry. Here's your completion initially. No confirmation. Slides on through. Paused at the hop a little bit, but there was no dot, no arrow, no HSI, and it sailed on through. So today, looking for something to develop. I think it's interesting. You have to go back to, say, the hourly or 4-hour time frame before you start picking up any patterns that of consequence that basically say, 43.90, 4,400. We can look for temporary support here. Keep an eye on that. We're down. This is down pretty hard. It's just going to take one little trigger on HSI to pop out of the zone. I think it's going to be a little while, but you're deeply oversold. Really quick, I did want to just follow up on one or two of the longer term things I mentioned last time where it's getting close. Here's Coca-Cola. Let me bring it on the other one. It's pretty clear on this, but same pattern on eSignal as TradingView. And I've been saying 55 all along, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that overshoot as low as 54. And we're getting close. That would be one of the situations that would tell us, hey, broader market's ready to turn around. We get a type 2 on Coca-Cola, and you get the retest on the Qs and hit a lot of the numbers that we've been angling for a month. That would kind of fulfill the larger bullish scenario. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yep. A couple more comments, chats. Thank you, everybody. Let's look at really quick the dollar. I know a lot of you guys are wanting to just take a peek. That it does explain partially the deal. I think it's probably more rates and bigger patterns, like the bearish patterns on things like Apple, Netflix, needing to go through that. Here's dollar. Oh, that was beautiful back in July. From 99 to 105. Nice. And that's kind of looks like a lot of crypto we've seen recently. Multiple back-to-back patterns. The only difference is this thing is actually doing something about it. Beautiful patterns. Reaction, retest, reaction, retest. Can you at least get to type 1 on this one at 107.28? Maybe. But a lot of pattern formation here. Smaller pattern inside a bigger zone. That's always good. And then stuff like this. Yeah. Butterfly or back-to-back patterns. Best. Bat to butterfly. Let's keep an eye on that. Market's trying to turn around a little bit. Not a heck of a lot. I mean, holding off at 359. Meanwhile, the dollar's trying to do some kind of continuation move as well. Don't know. Quickly, crude oil. I should bring up the other. Here's light sweet continuous. There you go. A few people have asked me what I thought about crude. We're printing some bearish patterns. I mean, no doubt about it. You're at the swing off the 886 from last November, all the way down, all the way back up. And hold on, let me bring this in. Great. Here's XLE. XLE is, I think, ideal. One of the more ideal charts I've seen out there, where the breakdown, the dots, everything you want to see is just spot on. So here's XLE, and we formed a dot 3 days ago. Literally right around 89 change, 89. What was the close there? Yeah, 92.01. And even anything above 90.57 still getting rejected. XLE, regardless of the longer term scenario, needs to do that. Needs to do a correction 85.73 down to target 1. So that is a nice type 1 reaction. And I have not been in this for a while, fearing that we were going to get more consolidation, more bearish resistance. And I would love to look at this when it comes back down to 85, because that would set up the potential for the larger move. Hit down there, go to hop or higher. Couple more. Sure, David. Yeah, we can look at McKesson. McKesson, all-time highs, 441. Another bat pattern. So how we would look at these, much like Pepsi or anything else, reactions. In fact, you go off of McKesson last 3 patterns. Pretty interesting. All crab patterns. All yielded simple dud reactions. And then back down to there. And now there. And just look, maybe not the best position to be holding a ton of puts, but you need to see that thing roll over now if it's going to do it. Daniel's asking that when there's a quick question, when there's a pending pattern on TradingView, there's usually a parentheses at that end. Yes. So you can get the software to project pattern matches. They're not, I don't think it's reliable because the market can change, and I would prefer to deal with potential patterns than pending patterns, but you select that. Select the showing pending patterns or show potential patterns. Run through that, you'll see what I mean. You're funny, Pete. That is funny. Hey, greatest Christmas present ever. 1 minute, 1 second. Let me get a little sip of water. So, McKesson's still up on the daily. And we see that because not only one, but two HSI signals. Strong stock. I mean, crazy strong stock, even in the face of this oil pullback. But you're overbought there. So maybe higher, as high as 454. But you'll get an HSI signal. You'll get another dot. It'll stay in a tight range. But, you know, as another 10 to 12 points higher for sure. Let me pull up the potential chart that you're talking about. So I removed the pending and potential because I think they are confusing. You get multiple overlaps and people are like, well, what about that versus that? That's why I really don't show pending potential. I like to deal with completed. But you're showing this potential bat that, yes, is higher, almost at where it would be projected to. Okay, still looking for the confirmation. Even if it showed you something like that, you could use it as a tool, not only to short, but how long you're going to ride that long position into the zone. It's a tricky proposition because when you're in a zone, things can turn on a dime. Keep an eye on that one. I like that. Sure, Mr. Lauderdale. Oxy. And I think Oxy's got a lot of narrative at the moment. Yeah. A lot of narrative, not great technicals. There's weekly. Yeah, I see what it's getting at. But not quite there yet. You're probably, look, Oxy's had a lot of problems in this $60 level. And I don't expect that to change. So maybe you get back to 55 and you get another dot opportunity. That's the thing to think about with oil in general. Get us a pullback and look on that pullback. Should I buy puts to pump the market even if we don't get any crash? No. Look, be patient on that. We've had a few opportunities in the last week, and again, we'll get another one. Market is down, you know, I mean, Qs are down 12 off of yesterday's high. Daniel's asking, what's the bracket at the range? Daniel, that's just the projected maximum range of the crab, of what the crab could crunch. And this is a new thing that, you know, I guess we're still working with, but that's how you play with it. It doesn't, it's better served if you go off of the completed patterns than trying to guess which pattern's going to turn out. Few more. How about the other Marathon Petroleum. Yeah, so there's refiners through the roof. Yeah, almost need to wait for that to come back. Give you something on a daily or 4 hour. I mean, you're really trying to chase that. Go up there on the weekly and just buy it. That's MPC, but something like Valero. Yeah, it's doing pretty well too. Almost trying to break out new highs. Okay, KHC, you got it. Yeah, the Heinz company, it's 2 of 2. It finished the bat reversal. Probably needs a little more time though, because you're banging off of this obvious support with a yellow dot. So maybe you're range bound. Does it need to come back and retest that pattern? Maybe, but at least for now, you got some dots. You didn't have that yesterday or 2 days ago even. Meanwhile, the QQQs are off 465. The SPY down 5. S&P's off 50. Kind of a muted morning session. We do have a dot on the SPY 5-minute. Looks like this. Let's go regular trading hours. There you go. Yeah, that's just quite a bit of follow through and zero patterns down there. In the hourly even, take a look. Yeah, because you're trying to print some bat patterns. You are coming back down here, 437.26. That's a minimum objective. So, you know, we're pretty close, but even on the hourly with that bat pattern, 430.88, if things get really ugly, that very likely could get hit. So keep that in mind. Would love to see some kind of little 5-minute pop for an hour or two and then have it roll over. Faisal is asking, and how are you, Faisal? What does the yellow dot mean? The yellow dot signifies really where the price action agrees with the indicator, meaning we get a green arrow, okay, but the real trigger is on the retest and then 1, 2 bullish candles. That's what happened here. But you just went right into a bearish HSI, which is common. That happens when you run into it. You just have to step aside and say, okay, this wants to do more consolidation. I'm not going to get the big move I thought I would. Thanks, David. David just popped a great video on the yellow dot and kind of the rationale behind it. Appreciate that. But we're looking for that in all of our scenarios, especially when we're on a 5-minute. Here, let's do this. There you go. Had a crab pattern at 435.20. And look what it did. Just grinding lower. That's on the SPY. That's an ugly, ugly chart. You'd need to see a demonstrative turnaround for that thing to get going. And, you know, it could pop. But as you keep working your way down, every target one becomes the next set of resistance. You know, there and there. We didn't get to target one on the shark. Keep all of that in mind. I think it's going to take time. We definitely had a big follow through down in the last 48 hours. Don't be surprised to see this thing at least pop back. We will deal with the larger consequences as we get into the end of the month. 1 second. I'm going to switch to Bitcoin. Hold on. Thanks. Let's do a quick roundup on Bitcoin. Crypto. So I think it's interesting. You're printing some yellow dots, not only the bullish side, I mentioned that, but bearish HSI. The deal on Bitcoin, I hate to say this, but depending on your data feed, it does matter. It's not on every data feed. But Coinbase it's on. Okay. Coinbase did a type 2, the retest at 25,560. It went to 27,559. So that would be the target for this move on Bitcoin. And then if we're going to see fireworks, something really develop, Bitcoin will come back down in here and try to confirm that bat and then go. Who's asking that? Faisal. Yes, we have a free trial on HPC for TradingView. And I would get it because we have the dots and we have the T1, T2 now. All of those updates are included. So go to the basic members page and review that information right there under HPC Lite. Send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. And get with the crypto. Let's see what happens on this retest. We could easily come back down and hit 25,560 because, look, the daily is already printing another overbought signal. So that's not really the cleanest of bullish scenarios. That suggests more consolidation, just like the last one did. Appreciate it. Yeah, and if you're on the Discord, get with Miss Stephanie. Listen, for this week, the big deal that everyone should pay attention to, especially those that have the software, track the weekly on Coinbase for Bitcoin. You want a green candle. Whether we come up and do a check back or even go lower, this is the starting point. It's the first green candle, HSI, since the bottom on the weekly. That's why it's so critical. Looks like that. I mean, I think no matter what, even if Bitcoin rolls over, at least the indicator is going to stay out. It's going to come out. It's going to stay out. And whatever the low is, what's that, 26,359. For next week, that is a big number. Big number. We probably even get into the zone type of deal. Where is it? Here you go. Where I would think of it like this. The weekly opportunity for BTC to trigger a continuation would be to retest, consolidate, give me a dot, and then take off. And I don't think it's much different than really what we saw back in here. You know, we formed that the day we formed it. The next day we checked back. 2 days later, you got a yellow dot. And this was ended up being, even though it looked like the dot was going to take you higher right off the bat, this is generally the whole area for Bitcoin you want to look for on the daily with that kind of a check back. So you have some things, and I've been saying that. You have things. We've been waiting on these things. I've been saying September, October. What's the big deal today? It's about the 21st. And again, it's amazing that people think harmonic patterns are related to astrology. They're not. It's not astrology. It's more just observational cycles of how many times we've seen this hit an equinox date. 21st of September, June, March, December. Always it seems to be some kind of turning point inflection. And we are down. I mean, no doubt. Think of it another way to kind of think about Bitcoin, aside from all the other return numbers people like to cite. We are at a 382. So we've retraced generally 40% of the rally that started at the very end of the year or very beginning of this year. We're at a 40% retracement. Not bad. That's, at least something where you're not chasing it. But I still want to see consolidation, confirmation, and then go. So here's my other one. I almost threw $5,000 at this on a whim. Why would I do that? Well, I didn't, but I'm almost ready to and start and build my position in XRP. I've been also saying I need to see one green candle for the week. Looks like we're going to get it. HSI finally coming out, and that's a weekly chart. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Even if this takes 3 to 6 more weeks to work its way through, I think you could come back maybe to this 47 level. Where is it? It's another daily bat pattern on the, sorry. There it is. It's a bat pattern. Okay, at 47. But we're printing a daily bearish HSI. So still down. But I'm definitely got a little scratch on me with XRP wanting to start some kind of position. I would love to get the opportunity to buy this at 37 or 31 cents, somewhere in that area. Bitstamp, Coinbase feed, Binance feed, they have them slightly different levels. Like Binance feed, it's a perfect type 1 to type 2 now. That's at 31 cents. Where's Coinbase? Come on, where'd you go? Don't have Coinbase on there. I'll have to come back to that. I'll say this. If I'm going to buy it up here around 50 cents, I'll wait for 47. Because I can wait for HSI to trigger. But we are in a spot where we're looking for 2 of 2 situations. And, again, I come back to this crazy multiple daily data, weekly data differentiation because you have slightly different ranges. For the Binance feed, the Gartley that it's trying to print is mainly because it started the data only in 2020. But still a consideration. We want to look at multiple feeds to get that overall consensus. Again, here's Binance where it's more like 31.4. I will wait. I'll be very patient with this. And because I really think it's the next dot. HSI triggers. You check back around 47 cents, maybe 45 cents, and then it's go time. No doubt, it's great that we are at the 21st, and maybe we go into a few weeks of consolidation to get it done. but we're close to an inflection on XRP. And incredibly, all of the news that has come out about the weak case the SEC has about Gary Gensler and all of his alleged activities. I didn't say anything. I just said alleged activities. They could be good or bad. Whatever, Gary. We're close. And I want to follow that soon as possible. And I'll rely on you folks to not let me get complacent on XRP. There are a number of interesting crypto getting closer and closer. And think of it this way. Closer we get, okay, the more ideal of a situation we will be in as we enter next year. Now, the whole point is to optimize the entry. If it's off a weekly or even a daily signal, and then hold the heck on no matter what to ride through into next year. That's the crypto strategy. Soon, trademarked. No, Tails, you can't say that. I have already trademarked the term soon and harmonic patterns. That's Tails, that's funny though. All summer long, we have been talking about just holding on, being patient, because we would want to talk about a year from now where we are in the cycle. A year from now in the cycle, we want to say, so glad we waited for those weekly signals and daily signals at deep discounts that gave us the ideal entry so we didn't chase and have to go through a 30, 40, 50% standard drawdown. Even if it's Ethereum. Ethereum is trying to print some kind of M-shaped structure. That's the pending algorithm. I'm not a crazy fan. It's my own algorithm. I'm not crazy about that because I think it lulls people into a sense of false reality. Yes, that could happen. I'm going to take it off, but I'd rather just wait for the bullish oversold reading to show itself. And we know Ethereum fairly uneventful on the pattern perspective. It's not like XRP, but let's be patient on it. At least Bitcoin printed some daily back-to-back patterns. Couple more. Cardano. Here's another one. I mean, can I buy? No, wrong one. Not Adam's PRC. ADA, Cardano US dollar. So here's another one. Itching, scratching. 25 cents, 24 cents, 23 cents. What is it? Is it 19 cents? It's close. It's real close. Let's get the crab. Where's the crab pattern? There's a crab. Okay, remember. We're going to get the check back. Very nice. So daily. Terminal bar is 25.5 off of the crab into the low last year. It did a type 1. And note, this is also important for new people to the software. This is the big new feature. It's auto-generated. Here is T1. That tells you initial completion. The type 1 reaction phase begins with that and goes up to T1 $sign. That's the harmonic reaction. And what we anticipate and look for every situation is a return move to retest to give us the type 2. Well, this one decided to go sideways for a while, and then it made our way all the way back down. Structurally, this is hit. But last pattern is a bearish pattern. And now we have some confirmation. So you have my attention, Cardano. You really do. I would love a check back at 23, 24 cents. I mean, we could say that yellow dot really should have been the dot that set us off. So again, a lot of people uber bullish on this crypto. It's just at what price? Because let's say we know it's going to 19 with or 20 cents at the hop, but we can't wait and we have to jump in at 25 cents. Well, when it goes to 20 cents and you have a 20% drawdown, that's when it comes apparent. That's why we are patient on these situations. Take a look also, even on this downtrend for the type 2. Break me out of that. But think about it this way from the perspective of these 21, the equinox days. Okay, there's June 21 right here, right there. And over here, there's June 21. Here's September 21. Over here, March 21. You get it. You know, that wasn't nearly as ideal as there's December 21. So what we can say about these 21st equinox dates is that, hey, if we have harmonic patterns there, and we know generally these, for whatever reason, love to give you some kind of inflection, that makes a little more sense to me. What's up, Rahizzle? Fashizzle Rahizzle. He's asking, hey, Scott, trying to get set up on the TradingView software, or is there any settings that are best to input? Your settings come default. About the only change I would make, maybe one or two, is go into your settings here once you've loaded it, okay? And first of all, your bars to process will be 300. You can stretch that out to 1,000 or 3,000 or 4,000. That will give you more patterns. My personal preference, I like to deselect the ABCD, the pending pattern, and the potential pattern. I only like to look at the confirmed structures because in most instances, pattern completion is usually just the first step and you have several bars before you get any kind of material opportunity to present itself. Final note, like I said before, remove show pending, potential, and remove ABCD because you get overlap. So if you have a bigger ABCD pattern than a crab pattern, for example, you might not get the crab pattern. I prefer the complex patterns over the ABCDs. But check that out. Also, we give you guys a ton of information, the course, the how-to videos to do that. Even the type 1, type 2 stuff. So if you're not familiar with that, especially type 1, type 2 auto-generated strategies, there's a couple of places to go. The cheat sheet, harmonic pattern cheat sheet, I'm pretty sure I need to update that. In our Discord, we've got, where's the type 1, type 2 cheat sheet? We've got cheat sheets that update, that basically outline all of those. There's harmonic pattern cheat sheet. If someone has a link, Miss Stephanie, for that type 1, type 2, please post that. And the other one is, look, in the basic videos, you go here, look for the harmonic pattern collection software course. Part 1 is there. Part 2, a little bit lower there. And then part 3 is probably the best place for type 1, type 2. But all of that's free information. Check that out. And the final thing, again, all the books are free. You know, this person that interviewed me yesterday, she asked me, why do I give it away for free? Why wouldn't I sell the information? And I kind of went into a deep, if this interview comes out, it's going to be deep. I went into a lot of stuff about my personal life, people that I've had to go face to face or toe to toe with. And I basically said, listen, if you make it free for people, they're still going to have plenty to subscribe to. Because what is the goal here? The goal here is to educate traders, make them aware of the knowledge, the information, the framework, so they don't lose their ass in the market so they can prosper. But if you try to jump too quickly, you oversize too early, and you try to jump in without a full understanding, you are going to lose. The way to succeed is to follow the videos and take a look at the books, or just scroll through even the general illustrations for type 1, type 2. That's all the way around page 200 on volume 3. But I recommend taking the time to go through it. And everyone that buys the software, so I'm giving away, we're going to start giving away volume 3 again. This will be the promotion package going into the end of the year. So if you purchase HPC, any HPC, you got to purchase the license. We'll include the volume 3 book. So you get the physical edition of this, but go through that information, because everything that we do is critical on how to break down these zones, these reactions. And it all starts with the books. With crypto, we're going to apply the same deal. I need to see a concrete harmonic pattern opportunity. In the same way that crypto gave it to us in 2018, 2020, 2016 to a lesser extent, we want those kind of big signals. So get on in, and if you have any questions, reach out to Miss Stephanie or the fantastic David, who's always in there, and the other mods. Love you guys. You guys really make it possible, and I appreciate it. All right, let's get into what's going on right now. Oh, it's light sweet crude on the daily. Big pattern. Let me finish up my crypto thing, and I'm going to go through one or two opportunities, and then I'm going to celebrate today. Big day to celebrate, for sure. Every day is a day to celebrate, but today's a great day to celebrate. Let's do one or two more things that are, I think, look, if you want crypto, we want patterns. Let's serve up a couple big patterns like this. Here's Atom, Cosmos. I think this one did some things that even more so than we thought. And all along, we were looking for $9. What happened? Well, crypto took a big dump, and this Cosmos came all the way back down to your hop exactly at 641. I still say it's early. I kind of like it here. If you were looking at just an opportunity, it's at the hop level. Not to mention, you're also at this bigger 886 right there. I mean, 665, 670, 640 maximum low right off of there. This should at least get you to about $9 or $10. So Cosmos, it's like one of the first ones I'm going to absolutely recommend as something to look at for possible type 2 behavior down here. Keep an eye on it. We've got the daily a little overbought at the moment, but let's look back at that 640, 650. You know these will do multiple tests no matter what. Couple more. So here's that Fetch AI. This is going to be a buy somewhere down in this bigger zone. Looks like it's trying to do a few bounces here. And that's all right. Kind of fits and starts. 18 cents. That was the big level. All the way back in June. That was the T1. We might get another confirmation. Okay, and you're back at 22. You made a few runs. I've got my eye on this. I've seen enough where, okay, maybe we can get on this trend line and we can get another yellow dot and get us going again. Speaking of dots, about 20 minutes ago, the QQQ put in a midday dot right around 359.50, and we're up a point. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come back a little bit, finish the day, bring it and rally it into the end of the day. Let me wrap up on a couple of these crypto ideas. And I will segue to the miners. Yeah, you got it, Ivan. I hear you. But here's the other one I find extremely interesting. And I got to shout out to this Kara Sasbo on Twitter, who is in love with Link, and I haven't seen her make a wrong call on Link the whole year. What she has said is basically every time you're under $6 for Link, you buy it and you sell it at 8 or 9, I think, what she was saying. Her name is Kara Sasbo. I don't know. She's fairly well known. She's just on Twitter. She's a big Link advocate. I find her interesting. Any of you guys know her? But look for the Type 2. Because if Chainlink comes back on the Type 2 and we get back down to 6 off of that move, which we will, I'm in business. I like it. Top of the hour? No, we're midway here. 1:30, folks. We've been going a good hour 15 already. I'll go another 10. But yeah, we're pushing a little bit higher on that. Thank you, J-Togs. What's up, Brandon? What's up, Ivan? What's up, Vlad? Great to see you guys. Welcome. Couple more. Real specific. You know, I'm not fudging it unless we have multiple patterns there. Here's Matic. There's another one. You hear everyone saying Matic. Okay. I'm down on Matic if we can get down to hop level at 40. You do have a dot. You have an HSI. All of that's more like 49. Big patterns here. Look, that's the kind of pattern you want to see when we're looking left and we start to build our altcoin consolidation zone. It's really is like this. We want to be down in here with 1 or 2 patterns or a type 2 pattern, if you will, so that when you do the big move, you could say, yeah, I'm not chasing at $1 or $1.50. I'm down here at 50 cents or my hop level at 40 or 30 cents, somewhere in this area, and let it do 6 months of consolidation. But you're buying it on the discount. You're buying it on the big retrace. Here's the weekly. Where's the weekly? There's weekly. That's on Binance Perpetual Contract. This is another one with Matic I find quite interesting. And it's there. It's a shark pattern getting generated by the software. And we're going to get a dot this week. First real green dot in about 8 weeks. Maybe the second one in about 9 weeks. But those are the kind of things that if you want deep discount on crypto, that's the definition of it. If we want deep discount on miners, we've got things. Bit Digital. Look, that's bounced, did a yellow dot here, and we know that it's a weekly. Daily is what I'm interested in because we have patterns now. A lot of these, that's the 4 hour, but on the daily, there you go. So this is interesting because you did HSI, it's a type 1, target 1, but now we have a counter trend HSI. So for Bit Digital, it's going to be more time. Probably between that $2, $2.26 level. I think the same with Mara. Is Mara or Riot? It's Mara. Mara is a type. This is a tough one. It's a type 2. Just because I can't believe how close that was. The high was 1392. Target 1 was 1393. I never want to fudge my numbers, but if it's 1 penny off, I almost have to assume that that is a type 1. So give me a candle down here. Mara is oversold at the moment, but this is what you should look for today into tomorrow. For that to pivot out next week, we probably are going to go on that. Pretty interesting stuff. What's up? Mitch Ray is in the house. Welcome, Mitch. What do you think, Mitch? Commodities, equities, cryptos dumping together, no liquidity. And we are, in the September, October, fall season. Great to see you, man. Hope everything's well with you. Mitch and I are going to definitely do that 1 year. We'll do a 1 year link up, 1 year anniversary of the Vegas stream. So, and check Mitch out over at Mitch Ray TA over on YouTube every night. Hit subscribe to him, and you've been great reads, man. What I've been able to catch recently, really phenomenal reads across the board. Mitch is just always on it. One or two more possibilities, things I'm looking at. Here's Litecoin, kids. Just another example of a pattern popping. Now, I'm not a fan of this sideways action for 30 days, but this is the kind of pattern I'm talking about. Even those that have realized a nice move, Litecoin was 52, went all the way up, and look at all the back-to-back patterns here. There's the type 1, bang, type 2, perfect, all the way down, 2 of 2. Now we're at a T1 bullish on Litecoin. So for the first time in a while, we're seeing the T1 get generated where you could go into a reaction here. I need to see a breakout. Strong follow through above 67. Keep an eye on that. I like it. I just think you need time. Always time. I hate to say that. You need more time. You need more time. It's just not as ideal as I want, but at least you have patterns. You have some back-to-back patterns, if not. And I would venture to say, overall, if Litecoin is going to be one that holds, your larger support zone for a possible low is around 56, maybe as low as 47, but with crypto, it's not going to matter if you buy it at 56 or 47 if it's going to work. And the other kind of thought with a lot of these is that why not just do an 886? You're already almost there. Your 886 is same deal, about 49. So there's a lot to be said there. A lot to be said for waiting on this, but getting ready to pounce because you're on a retracement, you're retesting major lows with patterns. We'd like to see that. Thank you. The anniversary is the Vegas live stream. So, that's what you and I mentioned that before. I think that was pretty momentous. Maybe we do a non-alcoholic live stream. We'll see. Let's keep doing really quick. Let's finish up on those miners. Here's Riot. There you go. All the way back down. This has no pattern. And I would technically, even with that overspill here, you have some dots. Your bigger patterns are back at $10. So you're looking here. You could go as low as target 2 at 730, but somewhere between this generally $8 and $10 for Riot is an area you need to watch for. Don't forget the weekly structure. This is probably of all the nicest I've seen. And you're retesting this zone here where XA is at 1087. So under $10 for Riot, you're looking for that to trigger. Here's the weekly on Riot, which is probably the best development of them all, where Riot's oversold now. Even if we come down another $1 or $1.50, you're going to hit your limit soon. And I would be looking at Riot for the next opportunity down here. $7, $8. And like Bitcoin or the rest of them get going, they start to fly. Yeah. Couple more. Microstrategy, because we haven't talked about that in a while. There's a lot of buzz. People saying BlackRock's buying them. Other hedge funds are trying to buy them, basically take over their Bitcoin hoard. But where are we? Really trending lower, oversold. So nothing there on the weekly. And this is another one I would wait on the weekly or even the daily. No pattern. What was the thing here? Oh yeah, it was a little ABCD extended crab off, off of all these lows. Nothing there yet, but a nice retracement, a nice signal. Maybe we get a pattern to the right here. Maybe a small bat at 250, something like that. Again, I'm willing to wait, but we come into this where if we can get through October, get into November, that's pretty much the sweet spot where you start looking towards the next year. One or two more. All right, for Justin, just so we can go through like things that are dying on the vine. His beloved Gala. And yeah, like it's going to go to the hop, man. Gala's going to the hop. And that's at 0.08. 0.008, sorry. Really, it's an 0.8 of a penny is how you read that. But at 1 cent, 2 cent level that we were looking at a long time ago, we were actually up here looking at, what did we have? We had some kind of bat, or we had something there earlier at around 2 cents, but we were still waiting for this lower around 1.8, now 1.3. Ugly, needs a dot, needs to break out of this downtrend. This is, although I don't know as much about this as say XRP, that is the kind of washout you want to see. You want to be looking for these crypto to really come into a spot where they can just give you the ideal entry. Here's Phantom on the daily. Just printing patterns today, folks. Nothing but printing patterns. And we can put Phantom right at 18 cents, the same way that we do for Fetch AI. But we could get a yellow dot, and this is a bat pattern, so all right, but you're still days away. I'm fine with that, but those are patterns. I mean, there's patterns in all of these. And what is a pattern? It's all about the level. It's the entry level, exit level, stop level. It's all about levels, getting your levels right. And we can see that, it still needs some time on this. We need confirmation. We need clear confirmation. I come back to this. I come back to the Bitcoin example way back on the weekly. And let me get one with enough data feed. Let me get the all-inclusive index. Well, there's Coinbase. That's enough. I'm talking about stuff like this. I've mentioned this before. If this is XRP, I'm waiting for the retest, the 2 of 2, if not another pattern. And I think the 2020 scenario where a lot of people were thinking, we had this bat pattern. That was 2018. And it did that move, beautiful type 1, got rejected, came all the way back down and gave you another pattern with, almost a perfect XA retest to be the type 2 and took off. That's the kind of situation I want to see. Also notice we've had almost every cycle. The beginning of the cycle came with a rather dramatic capitulation. These are just technical events that I would love to see as your ideal oversold series of conditions to say, yeah, now it's time. Now it's time to go long and get ready for the cycle to be realized. But even you go to 2020, cycle didn't accelerate for 10 months. It took 10 months before Bitcoin accelerated. So relate that to XRP. With the big patterns, the impending retest, even if we get all of that, we're still could likely be 6-8 months before we get into an acceleration phase, a moon phase. And I'm okay with that, but we're frequently early with harmonic patterns. That's what they do. And they require you to go through a lot of consolidation if you're just going right at the levels. Part of the reason why we bring confirmation strategies to the patterns is to know the exact turning point in that zone. Where is it going to go? Vlad, great question. How do we manage conflicting time frames and signals like weekly oversold versus daily overbought? You've got that. You had that a lot in the miners just recently. And I would have to say that, Riot Blockchain is the prime example where the weekly is, well, now it's back to oversold. Yes, it was recently overbought there, but your daily overbought. So when you were overbought there, let me go back to the weekly here for XRP. Yeah, when you're back in like May of 22, and you're here's May of 22. Go all the way back here on the daily chart. There you go, something like that. Because here's May. And in here, the weekly is oversold, but here, daily is overbought. That means more time, and you have to let that daily, whatever is the overbought time frame, you got to let that relieve itself, work itself out in that zone. We'll get another signal. Usually that's in the form of a dot with HSI. What it means is that first move, from there to there was just a reaction, and you need some kind of confirmation. It's quite common, but we've known about that. We prefer to wait for, okay, weekly pattern completes, oversold confirmation comes in, that's like June, and then link that up with the daily. Down here is where your weekly confirmation comes in, and you have daily confirmation that comes in as well. That's the type of situation you want to see. This is what we want to line up and be in this kind of a zone. The only thing to think about when that happens is that your longer time frame is going to take more time. And along that way, if you're going to run into trouble, you're either going to print a bearish pattern or you'll get some kind of bearish dot that'll work against you. But can treat it like consolidation. What it's saying to you is it's just not like Bitcoin. It's in a consolidation range. We are not making moves yet. Couple more. And then I'll finish up. One or two of the big ones I've mentioned previously. With this decline, I like Coca-Cola. And these are the kind of patterns I'm interested in this big pullback. And Coca-Cola is going to be you're almost there. We're going to be a yellow dot. All right. At 55, we get a yellow dot. Sorry, we're going to be a type 2 down here at 55. And then I mentioned this before, yellow dot retest of that zone. It's all 55. These are great patterns to print, and that's really constructive stuff. So I'm not too concerned. And we see the Dow, the diamonds continue to hold up. Those kind of stocks look good. Here's J&J, another big economy. We're just going back to back on these patterns on the daily, and these are slowly just working their way up. They're not, we're not trending here. We're in a massive range, 180 to 150. And so it looks like maybe a little bit lower. XA level is 162 off of that Gartley. 154 is the hop level, and we just had some recent confirmation. So I'm looking at, that 156 area in J&J, another big economy type play, and then a few others that are I just find them interesting because despite all the noise, you're getting ideal setups. And here's Philip Morris ready to come back and retest a lot of these larger zones. This is we were focused on this back in June. Really nice type 1. Now trying to come back down, did a little crab. I would think 91 would be 2 of 2. And several patterns there. It's interesting how the patterns print out. If you get multiple patterns, you can just trace out their zones like that. And every time we're down at 90 or 91, and then up here where the profit targets, 103, maybe even bring it down a little bit, 98. That works that way. This is different than, say, something like Disney, which we've talked about. Okay, down here on the daily, the real number was 85. And this has failed in the last 2 months, really failed that. And you go to the weekly, or you go to even longer term, there's nothing there. There's really, we haven't even gotten oversold yet on that weekly of this last ditch down. And again, monthly, let's take a look. As I find this interesting. It was a perfect deep crab. 2 of 2. Lots of yellow dots. I'll tell you what will scare me on Disney in the market is under 78. There's really not much there under 78. Maybe Disney bounces here, but it's probably one of the few to watch to see if it's going to fail support. And then this takes on a larger kind of break or breakdown, which could very well happen. What's up, Mitch? He's asking for total 1 and 2. The total 1 and 2 picture for crypto market cap looks like this. And I'm kind of thinking that if we're even come back to this, I've been worried about breaking down under 1.1 trillion and still am. And I think 800 billion makes sense. Retest. It kind of reminds me of back in 2019 and then 21, where we've had a little back-to-back consolidation phase. And that might very well be a great way to be looking at this next set of levels that get retested. If we come back, would be great to kind of wash people out under a trillion or to as low as 800 billion and then go. To me, this chart definitely looks like it's just building within a long-term bull market. If I just forgot what was in here, I would say this is constructive on the monthly. But where within that zone is optimal buy point for the T1? Trying to print a weekly HSI, meaning just we're harmonically oversold, which is important. I think a trillion, everyone's looking at a trillion, and that's why. Versus total 3, okay, has this. This has been interesting all along. So total 3, yeah, take out Ethereum and Bitcoin. You have this bat pattern baselining at the hop level at 285. HSI, that needs to check back. That's at 306. So I would look at this total 3 index. I would love to see, we did not check back in the zone. And we tend to do that, especially in total 3. So maybe it's a little bit lower on the total 3. I think this is another case where time is on your side. Let it do its thing. We're in here. We're sideways for 15 weeks almost. Let it come back, retest that point, and then give us a dot, because that would be very helpful on the total 3 index to see some positive confirmation. Total 2 as 2 of 2. What, on the daily? Oh, off the shark pattern. Software, and who said that? Red Nose R. What's up, AR? What's going on? It is a 2 of 2 off of the shark. And you did get a yellow dot. That's daily. But that also is right at around 305 billion. I would think we get one more retest down here, especially since our last signal was overbought. Again, consolidation, taking its time, but let's favor it down at the lows. I just wouldn't be surprised on that. So if that's 306 or 300 billion, it'll be one to watch. But I do think you're coming in on that retest. Total 3, because Mitch says BNB is the anchor, and BNB looks like it's about to crash. You know what? We didn't even look at BNB, and it's a good one to finish up on, because BNB did have. So BNB had a pattern, and it has, well, a couple, shark, crab pattern, but look what happened on that little crab. That little crab did a target on type 1 and came back for the 2. I think you got 2 of 2 on the crab, but what's your last HSI is bearish. So that's pushing back into the zone. I would think under 200, maybe even as low as 183. Ever since this broke 220, I've been concerned. I would need to see something major on BNB, because I do agree with you. Look, software just started tracing out a shark pattern. So this is the other thing to watch. And on this most recent low, we have a shark. Last week, with the bullish candle, we have a dot. So 205 essential on BNB. Let's say this. If we break the hop and we're printing anything that's 179, 178, that's probably the breakdown. At least this shark for now on the weekly BNB might save it. And I agree, though. I would love to see that thing capitulate. Here's the monthly. Let me get a better, longer feed there, longer data feed. If we're looking at this right now, you're trying to check back. It all matches up with basically the 210 area, as low as 190 or 185. But under 180 is probably where it does the full 886. I mean, it's I don't think it's too much of a stretch, and would really be, that would be something. And that's at 81 bucks on BNB. That's a little different than, say, Bitcoin Cash, which I still think is probably a great short itself because of the inflexive nature of especially the last 3 months. You had that big push. Okay, now BNB, and I said this a week or two ago, that's exactly what you want right there at 206, and come back and shoot to 180. That's a nice move. I mean, it's easily 20 bucks or more on the downside there, and you just printed the dot. I think you're doing it today. So a lot that has happened in the last couple of weeks, now getting overbought already. So nothing yet. Again, everything I'm talking about sets up within the next month, 2-month time frame. Today being the fall equinox, so happy fall, end of the summer. Now it gets interesting. Now I think it really gets interesting. Yeah, Mitch says, good luck owning other altcoins when BNB collapses. I agree with that. I do think there's going to have to be some kind of capitulation as a part of this signal. And then we would reach that overall capitulation. But BNB's due. They're due. The rest of the altcoins, they're probably grind. but will not come to life until you see Bitcoin really get into an acceleration mode. And that remains to be the deal. Okay, everybody, Mitch included, thanks for showing up today. Appreciate it. Let's give away one more gold membership. Next person to type in GOLD, you'll win a 30-day. And we're going to do another option session. Boy, I've got mixed results about that. I was so disappointed. I felt like I completely muffed that presentation only to have everything work out like within the next 24 hours. So due to that feeling and my inadequacies, I really think we should absolutely get to do one more because the options have been flying. Been some good moves along the way. Mr. Parsad, dude, if you won before, you can't win again, but you were the first one. Miss Stephanie, I need you to monitor that list. Maybe we need a list of recent winners. But that's for today. Listen, come on back next week. Get with the software and, again, do the trial. But for those that are signing up, we're giving you the gold membership and a book. That's kind of the new deal because I think it helps people. The only thing I can't do is I can't send them internationally. So if you guys are international, you can have 2 months of gold if you buy it. Oh, you got the list? Good. You got to send that over to me. Anyway, big happy birthday to my Lucas and want to share that with everybody. I feel close to this group. I hope to share more with you folks. You guys are great. I appreciate the support. It makes what I do very, very much fun and very much worthwhile, satisfying. So let's keep it going. Until Tuesday, everybody, have a great weekend. Get over to Mitch Ray tonight, Mitch Ray TA on YouTube. He'll have a great show, and we'll be back on Tuesday. Until then, as always, people, go get them. Love you. Have a great one.